Joining me right now to talk a little bit about the 2016 Republican primary from Breitbart News, Sarah Rumpf back with us. Sarah, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for coming on today. Let's start off with Rick Perry. You have a piece out today about Rick Perry. It came out last night that his campaign was going through some, I guess you could call it, money woes, correct?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about all of this is that in all of my discussions with both the campaign directly and the people that are running his super PACs, they had always assumed that the PACs were going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting through late summer and fall. This has just kind of shifted the timetable on that a little bit. What happened is that it's one of those situations where you see what happened, and it's one of those things about no good deed goes unpunished. The reason that this is a news story is because Perry's campaign manager, Jeff Miller, is a completely honest and trustworthy and fair guy. And I've worked on campaigns where the money hasn't quite been there for a while, or they've had, maybe, things haven't gone the way they've wanted. A lot of times the top campaign management won't tell lower level staff, and Miller wasn't willing to do that. Especially for the young kids that are working at the lower levels on a campaign. He wanted to make sure that if they had another opportunity, that they didn't miss it. If they needed to get some part-time work or something else, to kind of tide them over for a little bit until the campaign got back on their feet, then they could. So he told everybody last Friday after the debate that they were going to have to, unfortunately, suspend pay for a while. And even with, him telling them, hey, we paid you through July, we can't pay any further, we'll get that back up as soon as we can, but I can't promise when. They've still had over 90% of their staff nationally stay on. And that includes the core team, that includes the core communications people, the core policy people, the campaign manager, Jeff Miller, obviously. So as far as the campaign functioning going, they're ticking along okay. It's not ideal. Right. Nobody would say this is excellent news, but it's certainly not fatal. And I'm finding it very odd, the number of people that were, drafting eulogies last night. I personally remember being in Orlando in 2007 and watching John McCain leaving the debate event and having no staff and carrying his own bags, and not even having anybody go say hi to him. Newt Gingrich went through a similar mass exodus of staff in the 2012 cycle and ended up being one of the last guys standing. So Perry staffed up earlier than a lot of presidential campaigns have in past cycles. That, now obviously has put a little bit of a financial strain on them until they get this worked out, but has provided some ground game action in those key early states. So we'll see. The other thing that people need to keep in mind, Perry's PACs still have cash on hand around $14 or $15 million.
Right.
That puts him ahead of a lot of the field. He has more money with these PACs than Huckabee, Kasich, Fiorina, Jindal, Santorum. His PACs did better than Rand Paul's did. So that's enough to keep him on the air. The PAC can have speaking events and invite Governor Perry to come address them. They can run radio, TV, internet ads. They can hire staff to do ground game. And the PAC people have told, they've been telling me for all along that they were going to be running a parallel ground game in the early states. So this is just shifting some more of that responsibility to them. It's tricky because they can't communicate directly with the campaign, but, the reason that you get people in charge of your super PAC is presumably that you agree with them generally, not just in terms of policy, but in terms of campaign strategy.
Right.
So we'll see how effective it is.
Now, I'm assuming, though, with the news that came out yesterday and knowing the media out there, they will pounce on this and basically write off the Perry campaign from here on out. That's going to have a negative impact, won't it, at least on donations flowing into the Perry campaign? How do they counteract that?
What they're going to have to do, I mean, that's the reason that a lot of the high-level sources of the campaign were willing to talk to me last night, is that they wanted to get the information out there and reassure everybody. The PAC is stepping up their efforts to, I mean, Austin Barber must have been on the phone all night last night. He's quoted in a lot of, the guy with the PAC is quoted in a lot of the articles that are out there. This can go one of two ways. People can look at it and say, well, this doesn't look good, forget it. Or people can say, you know what, here's a guy that ran was the governor of Texas. He's got some good stuff on his record. I think it's good for him to be part of the discussion. I'm going to go send him $20.
Right.
I've been seeing just some online chatter with my circle of friends and people I know online saying like, hey, I just donated $10 to Perry. So it may create a bit of a rallying cry. And that can work to his advantage too. So who knows?
All right. Sarah Rumpf, Breitbart News, joining us right now. I want to ask you about something that happened yesterday with Hillary Clinton. She was asked a question where it was one of the rare times she actually took questions. And she, it was that was the breaking news item. But she was answering a question about Donald Trump and his attack on women, the war on women that's out there. And she linked and called out Marco Rubio for his stance on abortion, and during the debate when he said that he was not in favor of any exceptions in the cases of rape and incest, and she specifically called out Rubio. What does that tell you about the Clinton campaign when they specifically name one of the other candidates besides Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, all along the thought has been that Hillary Clinton is most afraid of Marco Rubio. And having spent years in Florida and gotten to know the senator personally, I've known him since he was a state rep, she should be scared. Regardless of what you think about the field of candidates, you've got to be, deaf, dumb, and blind to not realize that Marco Rubio is a heck of a great public speaker.
Right.
So I found it very interesting that the Democrats and Hillary specifically have tried to attack Rubio on this issue, and instead of the usual Republican thing of the media and the left attack you on abortion, attack you on social issues, that you try to hedge and minimize it and change the subject, he has fought back and gotten louder than ever on the pro-life issues. He's given a number of interviews since the debate where he's been very, very adamant in defense of a pro-life position and pointing out that, it's the Democrats that have the extreme position. Hillary is fine with abortion up to the moment of birth. She's defended partial birth abortion as some sort of right instead of a barbaric procedure. She's defended Planned Parenthood continuing to get funding, even though we've all seen these, horrific videos, which she's acknowledged are disturbing. It's Hillary that has the extreme position is what Rubio is saying. And they've even been pushing this on their social media where he's been putting out these little memes saying, like a fetus, a human fetus doesn't become a cat or a tree. It becomes a human being. It's human from the moment of conception. This is a very strong pro-life position that will play very well in the Republican primary. And Rubio's got the kind of pro-life record that there's nothing he can do to convince the radical left voter that he's going to be acceptable to them. So, that's...
He's definitely reaching out, I think, to even the evangelical vote that is out there, and maybe chipping away support from the other candidates. There are people obviously in the Republican Party which they're going to love what Rubio is saying right now, and if he could turn Hillary Clinton into the Wendy Davis of the United States, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and that's fine with me. So, I like the fact that he's not backing down from it, but he's still being very practical about it. He pointed out that, somebody, I forget, I think it might have been Megyn Kelly that did it first, but pointed out that he'd voted for a bill that is included in exceptions for rape and incest and life of the mother, and he pointed out yes, but that bill was going to overall reduce the number of abortions. So, it's an imperfect world out there. He voted for legislation that he really honestly felt, based on the research and what was out there, that it would reduce abortions. And so, if you can't have them completely, outlawed with the Supreme Court rulings that are out there, then you do what you can to minimize the number of unborn children getting killed. So,
right.
That's a very practical position.
Visiting with Sarah Rumpf, Breitbart News, Breitbart.com. Sarah, you got any pieces that'll be coming out later today that you can kind of give us a preview, tell us what's coming up?
I don't exactly know what order the stuff that I've got in the hopper is going to be coming out. I know that people should keep an eye on Governor Perry's policy discussions. I've been talking with the campaign about what they're planning on rolling out next. There may be some education chatter because he definitely worked on some of the higher education affordability stuff, like the $10,000 degree. And with Hillary Clinton coming out with her college plan, Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio were both very loud in attacking that yesterday. I had an article up. And got some other stuff on just 2016 race in general and some of the people reacting to the Planned Parenthood videos. So we'll see. I don't always have control over what order things come out. So
Sarah, thanks for coming on today. We'll visit with you again in the future.
Great. Have a good day.
You too. That's Sarah Rumpf. Follow her on Twitter as well. And you can also go to Breitbart.com and view some of her stories on there.